Hey everyone, welcome. Just wanted to cruise through some of this beginning of a group, the group dynamics. Before we get anywhere, I want to try to catch an online live meeting in the AA to show you guys what those would look like. Does start at about 6. It said people start showing up online. And then at 6:30, the actual meeting starts. So let's see if I can put it in the background there, because they may actually prompt me while we're here doing this. So learning objectives. This week, you will be able to identify issues that influence group dynamics. It'll be inclusive of planning, structure, member roles, and activities. Also, we did some of these in graduate school. So let me see if these are.
In the Gladding text, our author reminds us that in any group, it is a mistake to ever conclude that nothing is happening within or between the members. Even when you cannot see them, group dynamics are at play. A social influence emerges in the group that manifests itself by altering actions, attitudes, and feelings. This is reflected in the quotation you read on this title page, reminding us that groups are dynamic entities that have a direct and indirect impact on their members.
So, hello, how are you? I was just about to roll online. I was just about to go through this PowerPoint online, so you made it just in time. It's like the intro to group dynamics. And so I film it for those that check in online, but there's for those that like in person better. I'm here.
I didn't know.
Oh, well, it is a hybrid. So I mean, it technically is in person. I'm always here. So when you lead your group, you'll probably want to do that in person also. So there's like 3 major assignments. Were you able to get like the syllabus and the?
No, I haven't looked at any of that yet.
Okay. Oh, because you were just added.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll keep everything open, because we will do, it's every 7 to 10 days, there'll be like a discussion board and then reply to classmates. So that's counting as attendance, and then 3 major assignments. And I'm actually pushing the due date back on 1. They all go together. Are you a social work major?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all about learning how, are you doing your practicum right now too? Like what year are you? Are you a junior or a senior? Okay, so you're not working at an agency right now.
No.
Okay. Then it is good that I've found some of these online meetings. So the 3 major assignments, we're going to observe a group. Some people do that at their practicum, or you already know a mental health group you want to observe. Or we go to aa.org and observe either an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting or an Al-Anon meeting. So just see how a group is run. The second assignment is actually running your own group. And I put material in there that shows you from start to finish how you can run your own group. So if you were to go into here, it's here's what it looks like when they add you to here. Syllabus, I'll keep that discussion open in this one. Oh yeah, that syllabus was unpublished. And that,
How many assignments have you had?
just a discussion for the 19th and then the 26th. And then there would be a discussion this week too. And then, so just the discussions that are every week. And then the first major assignment, I pushed it back to be due on the weekend instead of, we had it due like tonight, but I saw people coming in late. And it's observing an AA meeting And actually, I have one. I'm logged into one right now that comes live at 6:30 tonight. I think they said you can. And so observing that, and then here's what the syllabus would look like. So that you are just in time. We have not done the first major assignment yet. And observing the group, and maybe it would help to have this on hand or take notes, is at the very end. So we're teaching you how to run a group. Like it looks like a lot of information. It's overwhelming. It shouldn't be. You're just going to watch how people run a group, run your own group, and then the final paper is creating your own group. So those are the three major assignments. When you observe the group, there's at the end of the syllabus these list of questions to answer. So it would be, the group assessment. So like name of the group, it's most people that aren't in practicum observe an AA meeting. Primary purpose of the group, the name of the leader, which if it is an AA meeting, they're just going to be anonymous. If you observe a mental health group, like where did you want to do your practicum as a worker? Where do you want to work as a social worker? Pregnancy center, you said? Prison. Okay. All right, cool. So they have AA meetings there too. So it'd be good to be familiar with this setting. It could be in a prison. I don't know if you can zoom into those, but some people get permission to go in. And then age, number, gender. So you're really just observing all of this stuff. What effect did the composition have on the group, communication patterns, which might be different in prison, actually, like when I worked with kids at the juvenile detention center, they talk differently. And so just going through the questions and right. Yeah. And that's the first major assignment. I have Sunday, but if you need a little extra time, it's fine. Okay. And then when you lead a group, there's actually, this is all of last semester, so you can follow it along. I'm really running the same info this semester. And if you want to run a group that is from here, relationships curriculum, a lot of people do Girls Circle because this one, it gives you, most groups go for about 10 weeks. So the themes are connecting with each other, labels, and it tells you everything to do. You just pick one of these weeks that you would like to lead, or you can create your own group if you want. Expressing myself, accepting all different parts of myself, cultivating respect, giving voice to feelings is 2 weeks because that's a big one. Romantic relationships, what is it worth to you? That's a popular one. Girl fights or girlfriends, and then wholeness and completion. And it gives you all the details like icebreakers and resources you will use. And I'm going to go down to week 1 because you'll see. If you want to create your own group, that's fine. What I like about this is it tells you everything to do from start to finish. It's like, here's how you do it. So say you go to week 1, it is all the way down here. Hopefully before they log in here. So the guide, it gives you everything. You can download this and save it to your computer, so you will always have it. And here's how the format usually is. We led these groups at Lighthouse Youth Services. There's an opening ritual, then there'll be a theme introduction, check-in. Often it's like, you could use a talking stick so they don't talk over each other. Feelings, like one high of the week, one low of the week. And if you have friends that you can bring here to lead the group with, you're welcome to do that. Or if you just want to lead with whoever we have here and whoever's online. Let me see if it's there's somebody online. It is easier when we're in person because that's the hard part about social work is everything's in person. So it's good to do it in person. After the activity, you'll share the activity and then maybe have a closing ritual. So here's what week 1 would look like in that context. Well, they go through all of these again and the different activities. And this is really cool to use if it is at prison or at your juvenile detention center or one of those. So week 1, connecting with each other. The activity is creating your group guidelines, and that's kind of the PowerPoint that I was getting into. And commonalities, the bead game, and then Materials. So you could, if you have access to these, you could bring them posters or markers because they're going to write up the rules, even on like a chalkboard, like no talking over each other and no hitting each other. I don't know, whatever you make up. You have like the people come up with their own rules. You may have a journal for each of them and like do this bead game that they have. So the purpose is to have girls become more aware of the relationships to themselves and others, to have girls express themselves with each girl in the group, and facilitate experience of empathy and commonalities with each other. So yeah, you'll have a journal for each one and maybe those beads, unless if you picked a different week. So you'll choose a ritual. It could be lighting the candle, ringing a bell, have them say one word about how they're feeling, even a moment of silence, music, or sharing a special reading. And then introduce the theme. And so we'll have these, we want you guys to go like 20 to 25 minutes just so you know how to lead a group. Because once you get into practicum and your job, a lot of times they just throw you in like, here's a group, you got to go lead it. And you're like, what? And often they'll let you like observe it first. Like, here's how, what's his name? But I remember when they had me lead it and I was like, oh no. And I just had to jump right in. So it helps to have stuff like this. And there's a few other manuals in there, but the theme is connecting with each other. So gives the girls a basic overview of what is planned. You may want to tell them about the overall theme. Like sometimes in society, girls' relationships are strained, like backstabbing, competition, judgment, fighting. Girl Circle aims to develop true relationships and friendships to learn and relate to each other in a healthy and honest way in order to support each other through life experiences. Girls often place more significance on their relationships with boys or men than on their relationships with girls or women. But love relationships can come and go. And for this reason, it's important to develop female relationships that offer longer lasting friendships that can support us through good and difficult times. The purpose is to unite women and girls together in friendship.
So if I did want to do this one, I mean, it's already done, right?
In a sense, I mean, you don't, as you get used to it, you might want to have some note cards and you could read off of those. You don't want to like, but yes, this is already created. You are correct. So that's the nice thing though. If you come up and you like lead the group and hopefully it's not just me and you, it could be. And yes, you could create your own if you want to, which is totally fine. A lot of people do.
I like the what is love to you.
Right. Yeah. So you could totally lead that. That one is probably like page 100 because it's like closer to the end of the book. So when you start, here's where it is. It does the icebreaker. You'd be like, anybody have a high and a low of the week? Introduce each other. Have you had me for class and anything before?
Yes. I had you last year. I don't know what I had before.
HBSE or Intro to Social Work?
No, it wasn't intro, so I had to do that one.
Right, because I only teach 3. Now I have 4. I have 6 classes this semester. So, okay, cool. So this group, it was crazier when we had 17 students because we all had to pick a date to lead out of 16 weeks. So sometimes we had 2 and 3 on the same week. So hopefully the class is a little smaller and it might just be 6 of us or 7 of us. So yeah, you'll create the guidelines. Maybe you'll write those down. So again, it's like standing up, doing it. And you can run off this script or the one that you picked or create your own totally on your own. And that was the idea. That is group number or major assignment number 2. I'm logged in right now for major assignment number 1. So we'll see if this AA meeting shows up. You actually could pull off getting assignment 1 done tonight and then just writing it up if you want to stay and do that. Or if it's getting real bad in my hour drive to Cincinnati, I'll slide off the road and die.
Oh no.
It looks like it stopped. The roads look fine. I'm sure my wife will be like, what the heck? So other stuff. I love this book though, because I think the agency might have paid thousands of dollars for this, because this took a lot of planning and, maybe you could find something else online like this, but I haven't yet. So I'm glad that I saved a copy when I left. So yeah, check in. You could do one thing you hope to get out of the group, one thing they feel about the topic of relationships, talking stick or a stuffed animal, so nobody's like yelling over each other. They give a lot of good examples. The bead game. So that one's going to be detailed, but we're different, yet we all have commonalities and interests. Different opinions can be good. Wouldn't life be boring if everyone was the same? Pass the beads out. You take all the same color. 10-girl circle will get 9 yellow beads. Another girl, blue beads. The leader may participate in this exercise. Explain what they'll circulate, pairing off in discussions. Have you ever been in groups before too?
Yeah.
Okay. So you could use an idea from the past too, but again, I love that this is so organized. And it tells you it might be helpful if you provide suggestions to assist the discovery process to kick off the exercise. Shared interests can include actors, songs, favorite food, family members. Suggest the girls find a different shared interest with each partner. After each girl has met all the participants in the group, have them string the beads they have collected. You might want extra beads so that they can create a bracelet. And then sharing the activity, what did you get from it? So it is a lot of discussion, and just like in the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, it'll be discussion. And I like that they're Zoom. And the key is I found an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it says that anyone is welcome to that AA meeting. So let me see if I even, now that I have 85 windows open. How did I get to this one? That's Google News. Well, I just searched open AA meetings online, and this is one that came up during our class time. I was hoping to get one at 6 on the dot, because we try to finish the in-person part here. Like last week, there's 3 of us, and we finished at 7 or 7:30. Because the other half is online, it's a hybrid.
Oh, okay. So how long is this class?
It is supposed to go till 8:30.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the one.
Right.
Yeah, so it's 5:45, and you do in person first.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to do in person.
And then I come, and then I get on school if you want. I'll leave here.
Right. But you would have all week to do it. You know what I mean? So basically we do an hour and a half online or in person here. I film it too, as there are some people stuff comes up. I get it. Some people prefer in person, some people prefer online. And then there'll be a discussion every week, 3 major assignments. So I guess 1 in February, 1 in March, and 1 in April, kind of, if you want to look at it that way. It's kind of spread out. And that should be it. So yeah, leading the group is, you at least get the butterflies out for when you start working in the field, because they will want you to lead groups and take the lead with clients.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you'll have a closing to your group. So it might be a song, it might be a prayer, it might be a saying. And then it goes on to week 2, I think. So you can pick out of any of these weeks, which is cool. Like how we label each other and do things like that. And I have the whole Girl Circle Facilitator Manual, so you could download that if you wanted to. This is even more in depth. So it really shows you how to lead the groups, which is cool, and why they do this. And you could do something like this in prison. If it's men, obviously you don't want to do it with the word girl circle, but you could do the same activities. And yeah, the topics they cover: education, sex abuse, depression, violence, bullying, cyberbullying, substance abuse, eating disorders, sexual behavior, juvenile justice, and economics. So they cover a whole lot of everything. And then, yeah, there's the things we just went through. So this is kind of their book that they wrote about this. I put all the PowerPoints for our actual textbook online, so you can you really can use those if you would like. Those are here. Here's some of the videos for like any discussion boards in the future. This is where, so a year ago, we went to an in-person meeting. Like, I don't know if you have a car, but we just drove to Xenia, went to the meeting, observed it. It was very cool and learning experience for everybody and diverse. And then Corona happened. So last semester we had to do this online stuff. Hopefully they'll have a meeting. If they don't, if nobody's getting on here, there's literally 10 to 20 meetings every single day you could pick from. Like an online, you just need to make sure it's open meeting. A closed meeting is for only alcoholics. Open meetings for anyone to learn about Alcoholics Anonymous, and they say it's open for a reason. So, oh yeah, I have exam guide. So if you're doing licensure exam, in a year from now, you can take the licensure exam. And these are practice questions.
Oh.
And I might have done that in the class last year with you guys, because I always like to add practice questions for the exam. You know, like if you want to get a license in social work, are you from the state of Ohio?
No.
Chicago?
Yeah.
So you would take it's the same test. You just need to make sure to take your licensure exam and tell the state of Illinois.
Okay.
So same questions.
I have to get the license, don't I?
Do you have to?
Yes.
If you want to make money, I mean, because I did a job without a license once. They gave me about $25,000 a year, and some dude called me and said, "You want to make $35,000 a year tomorrow? Just get your license." So I ran off and got my license, and I mean that was like a 30% pay increase, or 50, almost a 50%. So yes, the license allows you to bill Medicare, Medicaid. It is, yes, it does take studying, but you will make more money if you get your master's in a license. You make the most money. But if money's not important to you, you don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to get it. There are plenty of social workers that don't, but it really opens your access to bill Medicare, bill Medicaid, federal policies of billing and whatnot. So these are all of last year's discussions. So it gives you an idea of kind of what we did. Same thing this semester, but right now we're just on the few weeks. I'm surprised they were able to add you at this point in time.
Yeah.
That's cool though. So you got your 12 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
15, but I'll take it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Which ones are you taking otherwise?
I'm taking journalist practice 1, journalist practice 2. I'm taking another social work class, this social work class, and I'm taking public speaking.
Okay, cool. So you'll finish on time, you think? Like,
I think I have to make up 2 credits. So I'll do something.
you could do that or add it 18 hours in the fall.
Yeah.
Same price.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, whatever you need to do is I think we do have some summer classes and so the final paper is you're going to create your own group. You could do one for prisons.
Mhm.
It is like 6, 7, 8 pages, or grant on grants.gov. Like sometimes we write $100,000 grant to make a group for men that are incarcerated that you want to help them get jobs as they get out of prison, something like that. That's an idea. And then, yeah, that's kind of, those instructions are in the syllabus. And then, so yeah, like that's the discussion for this week. I think I added the one for next week. So I think there's those 2 discussions and maybe like introduce yourself thing. And, you know, like if you watch the AA meeting tonight, this is the easy one is you just write, I picked the AA meeting online Zoom during class, you know, like that's a easy discussion there. But then that's the first week.
Yeah, when I leave here, I can get my discussion going.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah, I'll open them up. So, yeah, basically they were all at the end of the week. So week 1 was the 19th, due on the 24th. Then the 25th, due on the 30th. And then that one's this week, and then that's the following week. So hopefully somebody logs into here at 6:30. we'll see. If not, there's tons. Like literally, I think that I just went online and did online AA Zoom meeting. And then like 100 of them pop up, like, I don't know, something like that. Oh, these guys meet at 7 every Pacific time. So that would be like 10:30 on Tuesday and Saturday. This one is, yeah, you can just search them that way. So, and yeah, I was kind of cruising through chapter 2 in the book, just about starting a group, and like if you work with men in prison, group dynamics would be pretty big, and lots of things contribute to group dynamics. Even any group you lead, they all add to the dynamics. So the important thing for us as the social work to bring is purpose, communication patterns, power, control issues, member roles. We made this in our doctoral program to do like the class totally online. So here's my co-student talking, I think, here.
As we consider group dynamics, we need to keep in mind some basic principles which tell us that, as a general rule, primary affiliation groups, those with which people most identify, such as family or peers, exert greater pressure on individuals than secondary affiliation groups, those with which people least identify, such as a city or confederation. Let's take a second as I ask you to apply this to your own life. What would be examples of your own primary and secondary affiliations? Who are the members of these groups? Keep in mind that primary affiliation groups are those with which you most identify, like family and secondary affiliation groups are those with which you least identify, such as a city or confederation. Now think about the roles you play in your primary groups. How does your behavior differ in these circumstances compared to when you're in a secondary group, like when you're riding a bus or a train? The influence on group members is known as group dynamics. Kurt Lewin described group dynamics as everything that goes on in a small group, including purpose, communication patterns, power, control issues, and member roles. By understanding these forces, group specialists are able to understand the nature of groups and how interactions among members affect the group's development.
So when you're like starting up a group, they like consider the big picture and things that you'll do for, like we're both a part of Central State University, and it's a group different than how we would go out in public and maybe hang out with people or go see a football game. And then there could be also mental health group and things of that nature. So this one caught my eyes. I like contagion means something totally different in 2021 as they're talking about like coronavirus contagion, but I wanted to hear her context.
The forces within a group, which we call group dynamics, are made up of two elements, group content and group process. We can understand group dynamics by understanding each of these elements and the extent to which they exist within a group. Group content refers to the actual words, ideas, and information that is exchanged within a group, as well as the purpose of the group. This kind of information is necessary but deficient for a group to operate. Although members need a certain amount of information in order to achieve their goals, too much information can be overwhelming. Additionally, people in groups, like people individually, tend to not make their most important decisions based on cognitive knowledge alone. Rather, decision-making involves interaction with others in pursuit of a purpose, where individuals have a chance to understand their options, assess their feelings and thoughts in the presence of others whom they trust and value. When we consider this are often a context for individuals looking to affect change in their life, we can begin to understand where group content may not be enough. This is where group process comes in. Group process is the interaction of group members with one another. As groups develop, less time is spent on content material and more time is spent on process functions. You can see here 7 types of group process: contagion, conflict, anxiety, consensual validation, unality, family reenactment, and installation of hope. Each of these are described in your text and will be helpful to refer back to as you prepare for your first quiz. Group processes enable members to connect and build trust and safety, both of which are necessary for optimal group conditions.
So she didn't really get to the contagion I was looking for, but like conflict does come up, especially in addictions group, for example, or maybe men recently released from prison where like they hold one another accountable and somebody's like, why are you hanging out with those dudes again? You know that they got drugs and guns or whatever, and you got a felony. And, you know, like, or a conflict is like, don't be chewing your gum that loud, you know, like don't be, what, you know, and like as a moderator trying to find ways to bring peace again. And yeah, so the one hard one is actually the confidentiality, because we can prove, and our license depends on it, we have to be a confidential social worker. Anything that's said to us, we have to keep to ourselves unless if they're a harm to self or others. Group members, on the other hand, don't have a license, you know what I mean? So they actually could go gossip outside of the group. So those are some of the things that can come up, some of the conflicts. So yeah, and as a leader, you'll guide with questions, interplay, what we have to do, how we want to accomplish our goals. Maybe a sobriety group is staying sober for the next day or week or month, getting to a meeting every day, and then identifying who we are individually and then who we are together and moving from there. So that's our, I know she is always a quick, good way. Jen Willis, that's who did that with me. I'm remembering now.
Keeping in mind that by understanding group dynamics, leaders can better understand the nature of groups and how interactions among members affect the group's development. We see here how leaders can use questions to guide the interplay between content and process. Content questions may include, what do we have to do? And what do we need to accomplish our goals? While more process-driven questions would include, who am I with you, and who are we together? You'll notice that the content questions drive members to respond with information, and the process questions encourage connection. Process must be balanced with content regardless of the type of group being conducted. Ideally, the content and process questions remain balanced throughout the session, with leaders prompting group members to attend to both an and process rather than focusing on one and then the other at varying times. Keeping both content and process in play helps group members connect the activities and discussion to the deeper work at hand.
So one group I also led was called the trauma group at Lighthouse, and we'd work with kids that had experienced a trauma in the past or a PTSD diagnosis. We also had addiction recovery groups. Uh-oh, now we're in a meeting. I don't think they can see us, and we're on mute. But let's see here. I think that we can hear them though, because like if they talk to me, I want to be able to be like, hey, this is my first time in a meeting.
Yeah, they can't see us right now.
Right. But he's probably like, who's this dude? I could log out and just wait until 6:30 and log back in. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's somewhere in like a different state too.
Okay.
And it was listed as an open meeting and then something else. So I totally forget. Maybe it says it on this. Like, doesn't Zoom sometimes have where you are, what you're doing? So, but yeah, if we can hear that, and he's probably just the chairperson. So like the one who's in charge of,
Yeah, he's muted.
oh, he is too. He doesn't give a damn. He just, sometimes they're court ordered. Like you got to get your slip signed and then give it to your probation officer. And some people have 10, 20, and 30 years sobriety. He doesn't look new with like all the tattoos and stuff, but
Yeah.
sometimes you can tell like they look rough around the edges when they're brand new, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they made us do that as an assignment at the University of Cincinnati, even 10 years ago when we were teaching the addiction studies class. So it's a good, and he even has a new phone. He's probably like, who the heck is this Yukon guy? All right, we're going to minimize it because again, we can stay and you can get this assignment done. Like it would just be an hour, or if you really want to go and you pick your own, it's up to you. Like I'm okay either way. I think my wife knows I'm teaching, so.
I can go, while you now.
I would just finish this week 2 PowerPoint, and then, if you really need to, you could watch it from here. But like I said, sometimes it's nice to actually, in a pandemic, have like a real class interaction.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I agree.
So, but I know people have other stuff. And I said that last week, and then I was like, I probably should have heavily encouraged. Yes, I will have the YouTube videos, but I remember last semester when I had those, just talking to myself and the PowerPoint and the computer. It's fine. I mean, I'll do it anyway, but it is always nice to have an actual class because we actually, you guys have questions. Other people might have the same questions.
Yeah.
So actually, do you have any questions? Maybe that's another good at this point. Like,
No, not so far. I know you said that the other assignment would be due Sunday, but you told me I can have an extension, so till when?
so that is this group observation one. So that's what this assignment is. If you just remind me a few days, I don't know if you have a bunch of stuff due that's. So if you needed until our class next week or something, whatever you need.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying, if you want to knock it out and we get started here in 7 minutes, we've been on 1 hour and 7, or if you want to do it from your own.
Yeah, I can do it from our own laptop.
Okay. Well, cool. I think these are usually just like a minute to a minute and a half, and we've got 7 minutes. So yeah, basically in a group, here's a big one actually. So this is like number one, you're going to want to remember about every single freaking group, the pre-planning. And I found this out especially with kids. I don't know if you've ever been like a leader of kids at a camp or anything like that.
Yeah, I was a camp counselor.
And if you don't plan, it's going to go real bad real fast. Like shit's all over the place. You know what I mean? The same thing goes for group. So it does help to have a little bit, even if it's just the girls circle guide in front of you. Because when you don't plan, it just like sucks. It helps the structure. And if you plan, usually you will have exercises and activities, group interaction, and different members will have different roles. I want to see what Jen says about it too.
Leaders can influence group dynamics through
That's loud.
pre-planning, structure, exercises and activities, group interaction, and members' roles. Pre-planning includes the time spent during
You're
the
okay.
group stage when the leaders plan for the type, duration, selection, and screening criteria.
We were just kind of cruising through week 2 and 3 PowerPoint. And then for anyone who hadn't observed an AA meeting, we have the opportunity to observe an AA meeting right now.
I did my assignment.
Did you really?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't turn it in, but I did it.
Oh, you did? Okay, that's fine. Because I'm actually logged into one right here. It's kind of weird because we're looking at Mark like,
Oh, I didn't have a PowerPoint.
No. You don't have to have a PowerPoint. You just have to answer the questions.
Was he in our class?
No. This is an AA meeting that I logged into. So like,
It's a Zoom meeting.
this was did you go to a live AA meeting?
No.
Okay, so we
I
did.
went to an AA meeting. I went to I went to a dementia support group.
Oh, cool. That sounds weird. How'd you get access to,
Dementia caregivers.
how the heck did you get access to that?
YouTube.
Seriously? Okay. So it was like a group that was, they filmed it however long ago.
Yeah.
How long did it go for?
It was like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. So I also had the AA meeting pulled up for if you guys like have ever seen inside an AA meeting. That was and you can stay totally anonymous. It's weird as we're muted
And
and
video. Yeah.
right. So he's probably like, I don't know who this dude is, but it's an open meeting. So like I looked it up on the internet. He hasn't talked to us yet because like if he unmuted himself and talked to us, I'd talk to him. Yeah, that's
I
fine.
just wanted to make sure we're getting.
Yeah, but we were getting, so it was good you were late though. I was able to, she was just added to the class. I basically covered everything we did last week, and we've been going through the fun and boring PowerPoint that my co-teacher and I created for graduate school
Yes.
10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Oh, Mark is gone. See you, Mark. about like starting a group, so like beginning a group. I wonder if that would be funny if, well, I guess they'll all have their own AA, like their own little login too. So I feel like this
Or
meeting,
what if it's just like a link that they
a lead.
have? A link.
Right. Well, I clicked on the link, but it looks like he's in a facility, like where the meeting's normally held. But I know a lot of them have gone, like last semester, we had students observe it too, where they still have the meeting if you wear a mask. I wonder if he's in the South though. Some of them don't have,
Yeah, maybe they do have like real life meetings, like just in case you don't have a computer or something.
and they film it too. Yeah.
Mhm.
For older people, but maybe they're in Florida. You don't have to wear masks in Florida,
Oh
right?
my gosh, when I was in Atlanta, nobody.
Nobody gives a damn. They're just like,
They were just brought up.
I know. It's like, and then you go up to New York and they're mask shaming you. You got to wear 3 of them over the top of each other, like
They
crazy.
just said, man, it's not.
And have you guys met? Maybe we should do introduction just so you guys get to meet each other if you want.
Like the 4th person to the class.
Yes, I think it is even 5 or 6 now, for real.
Wow.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
popular.
I know.
Where is it?
Yeah, I remember her doing the, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I have every social work class.
Yeah, I never
Really?
did social work classes.
Oh, so you guys are the same grade and everything?
Oh, I'm a junior.
I'm a junior too, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, since I've been going here, I've seen her every
Yeah,
That's-
I pretty much see the same people in every class.
How many social work majors are there?
Too many.
Yeah.
Like 100, you think? 25 per year? Or
But,
That's a lot though.
any of them drop out yet? Like, screw this, man. I'm sick of this crap. 'Cause I feel like some people from that HBSE class we had last year, I have not seen.
some of them are doing it online.
That's right. But I feel like some of them were doing,
Some of them graduated too.
okay.
Some of
Like
them-
some already had jobs as like an aide
Yeah.
to like people with developmental delay and that actually pays 13, 14, 15 an hour without a license. That's one you could get without a license. But if you get a license, you'll make more money.
Yeah, 15 an hour.
I know. Well, in Chicago, are you guys both from Chicago?
No, I'm from Indy.
So would that cost of living in Indy?
Well, minimum wage right now is like $7.25.
Yes.
So,
You want to at least
I'm
double
not really
that.
grown up yet, so I'm not really sure how much it costs to live off.
Ohio and Indy, you probably could pull off low wages. Chicago, I don't think you can.
Yeah, I think we could
No.
probably pull it off if you had like 2 jobs. You couldn't really do what you wanted to do if you only got paid $50 an hour. You
My-
got bills and do other stuff.
My first job without a license was essentially 12 an hour full time. So it was 24,000 a year. That's when the dude called me up and said, if you get your license, you will start here at Claremont Recovery Center at $35,000 a year. And it was just getting a license. Like I already had everything, but I never wanted to take the licensure test. Uh-oh, they're starting, aren't they? Should I, did he talk to me or is he
Yeah,
just,
I heard him say, hey.
oh.
Mhm.
Hey, is this an online meeting or are you guys in person? Okay. All right. I didn't hear what he said. So it starts at 6:30 or? Okay, I was just looking for some at different times and I wasn't sure I was getting the schedule together. Would it end the meeting or ruin the meeting if I walked out right now, or is that how many other, I guess there's, okay. Is it like a open discussion meeting or a lead meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I will check back in and I just am trying to like look around. My name is John.
I understand.
Thank you.
I'm Mark, John.
Nice to meet you. See ya. He's probably like, what the hell is that dude? He's So anyway, you may or may not have to talk. It might be best to log in like right when the meeting starts, but they're not going to harass you. You know what I mean? Like they're there for recovery, and
Yeah.
usually there's more people than that though. Like,
Yeah.
A lot.
they're all different, but
I just saw
technically,
that one guy.
I was going to say technically a meeting is 2 or more people. But like when we were doing the online meetings, even last semester, 5 and 10 years ago at UC, there was always, when we go in person, there'd be 20, 30, 40 people. There'll be court ordered people. There'll be new and old people, young people even. So, and for those that don't have access to like a meeting to observe or a group to observe, this open AA, or there's also Al-Anon. So open Al-Anon meetings help. So any other questions about how you guys are feeling about leading a group? Were you going to lead from Girls Circle, or you're going to pick your own mental health group that's not related to Girls Circle, which is this little booklet that I was doing? Where is it?
I forgot about the Girl Circle.
Right. You don't have to use that, but it tells you how to do everything from
Are
start
you
to
talking about
finish.
in that paper that you sent, like what school you? Because I answered all those questions, and basically like put it into a template, like a plate. Like,
For the first assignment, you did that.
yeah.
Right. So this one is when you lead your group.
Uh-huh.
And this is part of the Girl Circle. It's the whole curriculum of how to lead a group with, it is actually, both of these are Girl Circle. And it shows you how to lead a group from start to finish. But if you want to pick your own and lead your own and run your own, you can do that too.
Oh.
Yes.
So show us, yes.
Okay. We were going through it. You found, which one did you say that you thought looked interesting?
How do you feel about, I don't remember. It was about a relationship.
Right. Yeah. Everybody always likes that one, always gets picked first.
Yeah, because I feel like it's easier,
Yeah. Like it's something you're familiar with.
right. What
Right.
is a romantic relationship? What is
I like this one too. Girl fights or girlfriends.
it?
And it gives you like start to finish everything that you would do to run the group.
That's great.
I know. I kind of hawked it from Lighthouse Youth Services because I feel like a manual like this would cost you like $10,000.
Yeah,
So
probably.
download it and save it.
I will do
Yeah.
so.
Well, at least get our money's worth from Lighthouse. And then, yeah, it does the weekly guide. Most groups are like 10 weeks. The themes are connecting with each other, labels, expressing myself, accepting all different parts of myself, cultivating respect. This could be done with men too. I just wouldn't call it Girl Circle. You know what I mean? Giving voice to feelings.
Do you have to actually do this for 10 weeks?
Well, you will pick 1 week.
Okay.
So, like, we have to really lead a real life group.
That's the idea, yes,
Oh, wow.
because they will make you when you get to your first job or a
So how do
practicum.
we do this? Like, how
It might just be
how do we start
us.
this group?
It might just be the 3 of us.
So do we invite people?
You can bring friends if you want. That's fine. People did that last semester so that you would actually have like a circle of people to lead to. Totally your call. People did do that. Other people like just filmed themselves and ran it online because we're shy, but it's social work is in person. So it's good to learn the in-person
Yeah,
transactions.
during COVID.
I know. Yeah. And then we don't get enough of it during COVID for sure. I was wondering, yeah. So when I extended the group assignment, observation group assignment till like this weekend, just because I feel like they've added 2 or 3 new people into it. I almost want to see the one that you said was what you liked. I probably should just look up the page number. That might be easier than scrolling through 100 pages like this.
Yes.
How about page 57? Does it let you type them in? Romantic relationships. Is that the one you were saying? But when I went through it on week 1, you're like, well, we've already kind of done week 1, so let's not do it now. So I won't go through that. I'll go through the one ahead of it. We'll keep it a surprise. So your group.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Because yeah, you're gonna pick like a group that you're going to lead. Like that's just like what you said, which group you observed for the AA meeting or whatever it is. That's an easy one. How was the dementia support group? Now I'm curious.
I liked it.
Really?
It gave me a lot of stuff to write down.
Like do you have family members that experienced that? Or?
Nah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, on my dad's side, she just died recently, but
Oh,
she had dementia, and some nights she would be cool, and then some nights she would be like real
crazy.
belligerent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like swinging at you, like,
Yeah.
give me that pizza.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Like that. Or like she
Okay.
would mistake somebody for somebody and get real mad, like, why are you acting like that? Basically.
Right. And it probably comes down to their basic needs. Like maybe she was hungry or
Yeah.
hadn't eaten all day, thirsty, and like you act out. Like we all act out when we're hungry. So it's like you got to take care of your basic needs first.
And the people in that group were basically just like sharing stories about who they were taking care of, who had dementia.
Okay.
And they were explaining how frustrated it would be, or like how some of their husbands didn't really want to be affectionate with them. But then there was this one woman who was like, I kind of like it better now because he used to be really anal and he's really nice and loving now.
Oh my gosh.
Like, yeah, and it's like a whole room full of like older white women.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. That is. Yeah, that's a good mental health group. I didn't think about archived stuff that you could observe. I mean, that's good.
I just looked up mental health groups.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I always wanted to get something live or even in person. So if people were in practicum, I'd be like, do it at your practicum. Or if we were like last year, we all drove to the AA meeting. We met at class and then we drove there, which we still could do. But it's like, you know, if you guys are done with the assignment this weekend, we don't have to do it. So I like this feelings one though. They give you the full feelings chart because sometimes you forget some of these feelings and we only list like
I
3.
had a circle. I remember we got one of those papers. I don't know where I was or when this was, but we got a paper just like that. And you had to circle everything that you were.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I seen it in the movie too.
No, you did. Yeah, because they have like the charts up with the smiley faces and emoticons and all that. So.
Yeah.
So, any about the structure and how everything goes, since we are half online, half in person. I bailed out on that AA dude, as you guys are like, I'll watch my own. I'm like, hey, can I leave now? See ya. And he's probably like, yes, please, because I want to go too. He's probably in charge of the meeting. If nobody shows up, he gets to go home.
That's how it doesn't work.
Right. What's your work again?
I work at Ward,
Okay.
and I don't really do anything. Can't lie. I just kinda sit
What is
there.
Ward again? If like the counseling service place?
Nah, us right over here is the advisors and cash management, financial aid stuff.
And if nobody comes?
Do I have to get a sticker for my phone?
Yes, you do. I think it's only like $25 or $50. I think 25 though.
Okay.
Oh, parking stickers.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
semester?
cash management.
They make you get one every semester.
I don't know. I think they do though.
That's rude to make us get a sticker right
It would be different if it was every year, but every semester.
I know. Well, and then do you get everybody calling about the late registration fee? Like I did not
Yes,
register.
I got like 2 of those. Man, they're not playing either.